All right, hello everyone. So, today we're going to talk about something that's, well, it can be pretty tough and complicated divorce. Understanding the legal side of things is so important. So, in this explainer, we're going to break down the legal grounds for divorce in Nepal, nice and clear. Okay, let's get right into it.
So, the big question, right? How does divorce actually happen according to the law in Nepal? Well, the answers are all laid out in a really important document called the Muluki Davani Samhita, which is the civil code from 2017. You can think of it as the main rulebook for civil issues like marriage and divorce, and that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Okay, so let's start with the most straightforward path the law offers. This is what's known as divorce by mutual consent. It's covered in Section 93 of the Civil Code, and it's usually the most peaceful way forward for a couple.
And mutual consent is, well, it's pretty much exactly what it sounds like. It's when both the husband and wife look at their situation and agree, hey, this just isn't working anymore. If they both decide they can't live together, the law allows them to go to court together and file a joint petition. It really is the most direct route. But life isn't always that simple, is it? What happens when the decision to separate isn't mutual? This is where Section 94 of the Code comes in. It lays out several specific conditions or grounds that let either the husband or the wife file for divorce on their own. So the law gives 5 main reasons here that can be used by either person. And it's kind of interesting how they're grouped. 3 of them are based on the relationship breaking down over a long period of time. We're talking living apart, having 0 contact, or not providing any financial support for more than 3 years. The other 2 are about very specific serious actions. One partner inflicting physical or mental abuse, or having a sexual relationship outside the marriage. So you probably picked up on that number, right? 3 years. It keeps popping up. And that's definitely not a coincidence. In the eyes of the law, that 3-year mark is a really big deal. It's seen as a major signal that the marriage has probably broken down for good, whether that's because of physical distance, a lack of communication, or a failure to support each other. Okay, so we've covered the reasons that apply to both partners. But the Civil Code actually gets even more specific than that. It carves out some unique grounds that are available only to the wife, under Section 95, and a totally different set that are available only to the husband, under Section 96. Let's take a look at what they are. And here you can really see the differences. A wife can file for divorce if her husband remarries, if he commits marital rape, or if he's severely violent. On the other hand, a husband has grounds if his wife remarries, if she kicks him out of the house, or if she refuses to live with him or his family. What this really shows is that the law is trying to recognize that husbands and wives can face very different kinds of challenges and harms within a marriage. All right, so we've talked a lot about the why, the legal reasons for a divorce. But what about the how? How does this all actually play out in the real world? That brings us to the final piece of the puzzle, the court process and what the court actually decides. The whole thing follows a pretty clear path. First, a formal petition or complaint has to be prepared, spelling out the legal grounds for the divorce. Then, you take that document and file it at the district court. Once that's done, the legal process kicks off, and it all leads to waiting for the court to make its final decision. And this is a really important thing to remember. The court's job doesn't just stop at granting the divorce. Oh no, its role is way bigger than that. The court also has to make final, legally binding decisions on all the other tough stuff. Things like how property gets divided, who gets custody of the children, and whether one spouse needs to provide financial support or maintenance to the other. And all of this really leads us to one final and maybe the most important question. Why is it so important to be informed about your legal rights? Well, because understanding these rules, from mutual agreement all the way to specific grounds for divorce, is the first most powerful step you can take. It's about knowing where you stand so you can make informed decisions that protect not just your rights, but your entire future.